Welcome to this very important energy update about the Aries solar eclipse that is going to be taking place on April the 8th, coming up very, very soon. We are in full-blown eclipse season, and I'm sure many of you are feeling the energy that is happening right now. We are also seeing these energies playing out in big ways. The eclipse energies always bring radical and huge changes, and this particular solar eclipse, the fact that it is in the sign of Aries is a very rare occurrence. So this isn't something that happens often. It will not be happening most likely again in our lifetimes. So it's very important to pay attention to this message and what this solar eclipse is really bringing for us on an individual and collective level, because let me tell you, it is bringing in big changes. Hello, my name is Kata. I'm an intuitive life coach, spiritual life coach, and an energy healer. I offer spiritual insight for anyone who is really taking their spiritual ascension journey seriously and anyone who is really committed to elevating themselves at this time. For all of my offerings, please check out the description box below. Now let's get into this Aries total solar eclipse message, because it is a really powerful bringer of change. It is a very powerful wake-up call for many of us at this time, and how this will impact you individually will really truly depend upon your level of consciousness at this time, how much work you have done on yourself, how much change you have been able to initiate within your own life. And it will also be determined based on your own personal birth astrology chart. So where it's hitting in your chart will largely depend the area of life that it is going to be bringing in change. So get ready for the inevitable changes that this total solar eclipse is bringing, like I said, on a personal and a very collective level as well. This is world changes that we are now being initiated into, that we are now being brought into. So this eclipse is activating a change in your life that you know on a soul level, and I've been talking about this for some time, that you have needed some changes perhaps that you have needed to make for a long time. Remember that the lunar eclipse that we had on March the 25th was bringing this energy of eclipsing something out of our lives for good. So what was it March 25th, or in and around that area, or even recently, even today, that you have been feeling, knowing your intuition has been nudging at you to eclipse out of your life completely, to close out a cycle, to help you really finalize this closure that you have been needing to have, or this closure that you have been needing to bring yourself to. There is no escaping this change. This is happening now. So a lot of us, I think, are a little bit concerned, perhaps even afraid of what this solar eclipse is going to bring, just because I have seen many different videos out there that have talked about some of the challenges that this solar eclipse will be bringing for some. And I don't want people to be in fear, so I would like to just sort of present this from an angle of realizing that all change is necessary and is good. And sometimes certain changes are seemingly not good or very uncomfortable initially, but it is something that we must go through, if for no other reason than just to learn from that change and learn perhaps the consequences of that change, or perhaps the benefits of that change. So all change is and should be viewed sort of from a neutral perspective and just recognized as, okay, this is changing for a reason. Nothing in the universe happens by chance. Everything has a purpose and has a bigger role to play, has a bigger lesson or a bigger value to bring to us. And so staying open to that is going to be very, very key at this time throughout this solar eclipse. This eclipse is the most impactful. It is the most life-changing out of all of the eclipses that we are going to be experiencing this year. because it is a total solar eclipse, which isn't normally what we have. We have partial eclipses. So this one, being a total eclipse, is a very, it's like the universe's way of showing us a very deep completion, a very recognized completion that is now here, that is now on our doorstep. So those living on the visibility path of this eclipse, because it's going to be slicing right through the US and all the way up into Canada, will be actually even more greatly impacted by the energies of the solar eclipse. It's going to bring even more intense change for those individuals. I would recommend you to just kind of trust your intuition on whether you would like to watch or not watch this eclipse. Follow and trust your own inner guidance as to what you should be doing at the time of the eclipse, and definitely what you should be doing in preparation before the eclipse. Now let's talk a little bit about Chiron's influence, because Chiron is a massive player here with this eclipse. It is bringing in huge levels and very high levels of healing for those of us that are already on the healing journey, for many of you that are already processing healing in many different layers throughout your life and have been going through this very deep work of healing, particularly in the last 4 years, or right as the pandemic started, because that was like this huge initiator of healing. So Chiron, being the wounded healer, is bringing a radical unveiling of your deepest wounds, traumas, fears, and insecurities, exposing them to you for really deep healing. So at this time, you may notice that some pretty intense feelings emerge within you, some pretty intense fears, perhaps insecurities that you thought you've dealt with, that you thought you have managed and have had under control. Certain things may be popping up, and I mentioned so many times in previous videos that healing is always happening in layers for us. So this could just be another layer. It could very well be a final layer of healing that is needing to be recognized at this time. Something within you that is still perhaps not fully integrated. So these are shadow aspects of the self that you are still perhaps shunning, that you have perhaps not given enough time or attention to heal fully. And that's okay. So it's like, allow these things to come up within you, allow yourself to acknowledge whatever is coming up within you, and also keep in mind that it could be coming up in a fleeting type of way where it's not staying with you necessarily. It's not something that's going to be, that you're going to have to sit with, but it's just going to sort of pop up one final time for you to really acknowledge, even perhaps, that you have dealt with it, that you have healed it. But in most cases, I think it's going to be showing up for people as insecurities, as different things, different wounds and traumas that still have perhaps a layer or two left, that need recognition, that need that higher level of consciousness approach for it to be fully released, fully dissolved, is how I'm seeing it. It's like disintegrating, turning into sand or into dust. So in order for that to happen, you may still need to sit with something within yourself this week and next week, and perhaps through this month. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, what is most important is that you acknowledge what still needs healing and that you actually heal it, right? In order for you to move forward. So this is wounding that's holding you back in some kind of way that you haven't wanted to face, that you're not meant to carry with you any longer. So what is it that you haven't wanted to face, that you haven't perhaps had the courage to face, that you didn't want to sit with the uncomfortableness of? You may now feel ready, actually, with this total solar eclipse, to face it, to accept it, to integrate it, and to make that a part of yourself in such a way where you are now acknowledging it, where you're now saying that, you know what, yes, this is something I've experienced. It is something that is a part of my past. I'm going to acknowledge that as being just a part of my journey, but I'm no longer allowing it to control me or to affect me in any negative type of way. So really looking at your history and your past and past traumas that you've gone through and that you've experienced, and recognizing actually how much they are not being triggered within you anymore. So Chiron will also actually show you that and basically reveal to you the parts of yourself that you have healed, that you have overcome, that you have integrated within yourself and now feel much more whole and complete with. So I think that's really, really cool. And I certainly have noticed certain aspects within myself about that. So it's been really interesting. You may feel inspired to make your mess your message at this time, helping others, supporting others. And I mentioned before in my previous videos, I think it was the spring equinox video, I mentioned that teachers are being called upon, healers are being called upon at this time to step up a level and to really step in to who they truly are and to share their message, to put it out there, to be seen, be heard, be felt, be touched by others, and to be understood. And putting out your message and putting out your story could prove to be something super valuable for someone. It could be something that could be really life-changing and very supporting for another's healing journey. So I would highly encourage you, if at this time you are feeling called to or compelled to put your story out there, make your mess your message, then definitely do it. Don't hold back. This is such a superb time, and this solar eclipse is absolutely encouraging you to have this new beginning, to take that initial step into this new beginning. Chiron is also going to be helping you and helping all of us to see how we need to heal ourselves physically. So are you feeling heavy? Are you feeling bogged down? Are you feeling sluggish or tired, low energy? Can't sleep that well, all kinds of different physical symptoms that you may be experiencing at this time. Chiron is calling our attention to those symptoms and asking us to do something about it. So this is a deep call for each of us to really move into this energy of healing our physicality, our physical vessels, and to give it the right nutrition, the right herbs, tinctures, natural remedies, foods that are really going to support you in healing, in cleansing. I mentioned in the spring equinox video, this is the time to begin big detoxification and cleansing processes. So it's very important to give yourself that opportunity, give your physical vessel that opportunity to empty out all of the past accumulations. And this is going to be happening on a cellular level as well once you start to do this. So water fasting, 24-hour fastings at this time will be very helpful to do, and perhaps beginning an intermittent fasting schedule will be very helpful. Definitely getting into a really good exercise routine or leveling up your exercise routine will also be very helpful. There are so many different ways in which Chiron is calling us to heal ourselves, not only emotionally, spiritually, mentally, but also physically, especially this time of year in the spring before we launch ourselves into this brand new year, this brand new cycle. Chiron is also guiding you to seek that spiritual and emotional, mental support that you may be needing at this time. You see, a lot of people get very stuck in their heads. They think that they can figure things out for themselves. Oh, I'll just meditate. Oh, I'll just tune in. I'll just do this. I'll just do that. And while those are wonderful tools and wonderful ways in which you can support yourself, there are times when you need that external help. You need that external therapist or that perhaps even just validation or confirmation from someone outside of you that is going to point you in the right direction, that is going to give you the guidance that you perhaps didn't think of or that you weren't channeling. Remember that we're always perceiving our world and ourselves from the level of consciousness that we are at. And so sometimes it is necessary to seek someone who is at a higher level of consciousness for that guidance and for that support, so that you can get a higher perspective, one that you perhaps just couldn't reach on your own. And that's okay. We all have someone that is, at a higher level of consciousness than we are. And That's why healing and elevating is not a race. This is something that we all have to just do at our own pace, and we have to take it step by step. So if you feel at this time that you need some kind of support because you are stuck and you're not sure which direction to go in, then most definitely seek, some kind of a therapist, a healer, perhaps a naturopath or a homeopath, maybe a chiropractor or an acupuncturist, a Chinese medicine practitioner, whatever it is that you and your intuition is specifically feeling guided to or called to reach out to, then do that and trust that the universe is guiding you to that person or telling you to go see that person because that person has some kind of support that they can offer you, something that is going to support that healing that Chiron is highlighting for you at this time that needs healing. Now let's talk about the Mars-Saturn conjunction, because that's kind of a big deal. And that is a big player in this solar eclipse energy and is definitely going to be highly influencing this solar eclipse. As a matter of fact, the solar eclipse itself is influencing the Mars-Saturn conjunction as well. So the energy is playing out both ways. Mars and Saturn conjunction in the sign of Pisces brings some roadblocks. So the degree of the roadblock will depend on the lessons that you specifically need to learn at this time. So whatever it is that you need to learn from the roadblock that you may experience from this eclipse is something that I want you to take as not a bad thing, but something that is just necessary. Okay. And roadblocks are never permanent. They are usually temporary, and they are just something that is trying to bring your awareness about something that really needs to shift or change. So keep in mind that the April 8th is also a new moon. So this has this new beginning and ending energy with it. So these roadblocks may hinder new beginnings a little bit, and may also be as a result of an ending. So long-standing old cycles are now coming to completion. Things that have really just been sort of feeling like they've been going on forever and ever, those types of cycles are now coming to a completion point, and it's helping to initiate the start of these big new cycles, these big new beginnings. And sometimes there needs to be a pause. I find roadblocks are also just pauses in life where the universe is asking you to pause, to slow down, or just to stop completely and reevaluate everything that is going on and how it's playing out. Perhaps reevaluate where you're living. I'm kind of seeing that right now. So I think a lot of people at this time may want to move or need to move to a new location, to a different spot, to a different home, whatever it may be for you personally. But there is definitely this need to like move. I don't know. I'm getting a lot of that energy for sure. So the energy of the old cycle that you're finishing is so fizzled out. Like you are so over something at this point now that your undivided attention is on getting going with the new cycle. So you might be so over somewhere where you live, or a location that you live, or a house that you live in, perhaps, neighbors that you're having conflict with. It could be like a job, a boss, a coworker. There's something that you're just so over it. You're so done with it that you're going to have this absolutely super powerful, fiery energy within you just to initiate something new, to begin something new, and to fully close out this old cycle. So on a personal level, this is massive change that is going to bring some kind of upheaval in your life. This is something that is really going to change your life around in a big way. Rearranging your life as you know it. This could be positive or negative change for you. It could be a challenge that you have to face in order to bring this new beginning about. Sometimes when we have endings in our lives that need to be completed, that ending comes with sort of like one final test or one final challenge. That could be the case for you at this time. How it affects you, it really truly depends on, first of all, your birth chart, where this solar eclipse lands in your birth chart. And it also has to do with the level of consciousness that you are at. So it depends on what lessons you need to complete at this time, what lessons you still need to learn and really truly integrate within your being. It's what the universe is pushing you to understand, to have really strong clarity about. Now, on a collective level, this is massive change in like leadership, in government, in lives of people that have been in the public eye for some time. These are people that are well known, perhaps globally well known. And as we can see, that energy is also already playing out well before this eclipse is even happening. And if you look at the P. Diddy case that is all over the internet at the moment, you know, and his downfall essentially that is now coming about, Kate Middleton's situation, cancer situation coming to light. So there's like just deep, deep, deep truths that are now coming to light, that are now becoming known globally. So I think there's some big rearranging that is going to be taking place within governments, within all kinds of higher ups and, like I said, public figures. And we will continue to see this playing out, I think, throughout the month of April. As a matter of fact, probably throughout this entire year. This massive exposure to truth is really helping humanity to actually detach from this three-dimensional world, from this third density. And it's helping us to reclaim our power. It's helping us to really start to see people that we have had perhaps on pedestals for a really, really long time, to recognize that, hey, they are people too, and many of them don't deserve to be on pedestals. They are not anyone who are special in any way. As a matter of fact, with all of this truth being exposed, it is now helping us to detach from certain people that we've been maybe obsessing over or really looking up to, that we are now recognizing don't deserve our attention and don't deserve for us to be looking up to. So I think that's a very positive, even though it's playing out in kind of a funny way and feels maybe like a negative situation. But at the same time, it's like all this truth is actually helping us to recognize that we're all beautiful individuals that need to be focusing on ourselves and on improving our own lives. And we need to stop putting so much attention and so much obsession on these sort of fake people that the media has pushed up and essentially created this sense of like needing to worship these people, because that's what I'm hearing is like we've been worshiping false idols. And it's very interesting. I've recently watched a documentary and it gave me tremendous insight about how incredibly relevant certain stories in the Bible are about that. And if we remember the 10 Commandments and what the 10 Commandments said, and one of the 10 Commandments is to not worship false idols. Well, this is what is now crumbling and fading out. So this is how we're detaching from 3D, is through this very deep, very intense recognition of false idols that we have been worshiping, that we now need to pull our energy back from, pull our power back from, to become sovereign individuals. Thank you for that confirmation. And to really allow ourselves to recognize our own personal power and make sure that that's where our attention goes, is upon improving our own lives and not giving our energy away to these false idols. So I think I'm going to do a separate video on the 10 Commandments and just sort of do like a recap, because it is so incredibly relevant and so important right now for us to reconnect to the energy of those commandments and why God gave us those 10 Commandments in the first place. So this eclipse is bringing heavy, difficult energy. And for some people, this is going to play out in a very shitty way. It's going to be very challenging for them. And the other thing I want to just mention here is karma. So there was this massive emphasis on karma balancing at this time. And Spirit kept reminding me of this message over and over, how there is this karma balancing taking place at this time. So some people that have been at the top and falsely put to the top, where we have falsely worshipped these individuals thinking that they were good and they weren't, are now going to be falling. And people that have been doing God's work and that have been following God's wisdom and guidance, who have not been recognized, are now going to be pushed up and will be recognized. So there's this natural playing out of karmic balancing that this eclipse is also bringing forth and helping us to connect to and see. And it's like I said, this is going to be playing out big time in the media. We're going to see it left, right, and center, all kinds of truth coming out about all kinds of individuals that really don't deserve the recognition that they've been getting, and that people that have been doing a lot of shady shit behind the scenes. Anywhere that these eclipse lines cross, the intensity will be amplified in a huge way. So those particular areas are going to experience even bigger, even more intense changes. And the last point I want to mention about this Mars-Saturn conjunction, being in the sign of Pisces, this very much connects to water. Pisces is like the most watery water sign of all of them. It's the most deeply emotional, but it is also the most kind of murky. Pisces can be super like delusional, very confusing type of energy or water sign. All waters. This is oceans, lakes, rivers, seas, waterways, even all kinds, and anything and everything that is related to water. And we just had that Baltimore bridge collapse incident. That was a waterway disaster. This energy is already playing out. And that was an example of that. The energy is building. So what I mean by this is, and what I have come to understand, what Spirit always shows me about energy is that it always comes in this spiral. So there's no sort of, even though we have specific dates when it comes to astrology, we don't have specific and very sharp lines of beginning and ends when it comes to energy. Energy is always intertwining and is playing out before an event, like before a major event, like in this case, the solar eclipse on April the 8th. The energy is already felt. We are already in eclipse season. Certain aspects of this eclipse are already playing out, and then will also continue to play out even afterwards. So it's never, the way that energy works in the universe and in the cosmos is that it's always intertwining. It's never playing out like on that one specific day and not before and not after. Absolutely not. It's just like retrogrades, right? Because we also actually entered Mercury Retrograde today on April the 1st. So Mercury Retrograde too always has a shadow period. As a matter of fact, all retrogrades have shadow periods, right? So the astrological energies build gradually with no definitive start and finish lines. They just sort of merge into each other and unfold, some of them together, some of them sort of individually, depending on how powerful that energy is at the time and what key players, what other planets are influencing that to play out in a certain way. We are in an eclipse sandwich at the moment, with the energies of both the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse are kind of simultaneously playing out for us right now. So that's what I'm saying. We're like in this really intense time of change, of shifting, and of growing, and of coming into ourselves, of coming into the recognition of change that needs to take place within us. So it's an intense time, and I just want to tell you to be compassionate and kind with yourself throughout this time. Be sure to keep your thoughts and your feelings elevated throughout this eclipse season, and of course for the entire month beyond April as well. Focus on the positives. Really understand right now that you are a super powerful manifester. These energies are helping us to manifest things very quickly into our lives. So the more positive, the more enthusiastic you can be about positive changes coming in for you at this time, the more you're going to actually manifest that, connect to that energy, and really be able to bring that forth, that manifestation. This is a time when you can full on physically manifest certain desires, certain things that you have been really focusing upon experiencing in your life. So lighten your energetic load as much as you possibly can by taking salt baths. That will help to clear your energy, saging yourself, saging your home, getting rid of things that you know are just causing or creating stagnation within your home. It could be physical items, things that you're hanging on to, perhaps that maybe belong to an ex, or maybe belong to a family member that you don't want to be reminded of every time you look at that item. So it's a great time to, donate things, sell things, get rid of things that just don't belong, like things that you don't resonate with any longer. And of course, this goes for relationships. This goes for all kinds of different things, not just physical items. Daily meditation at this time is going to be very, very powerful, using visualization, using positive affirmations, saying those affirmations out loud, believing in a positive outcome for yourself is going to be super powerful. It's like this eclipse is amplifying whatever it is, whatever you are energetically. So if you are a positive, lighthearted, loving individual towards yourself, towards others, then that is what it's going to amplify and highlight in your life and help manifest even more of, and help manifest a return of that, or an experience of that within your life. And if you are someone who is, negative, pessimistic, and always focusing on illness and focusing on problems instead of solutions, then you are only going to amplify that. You're going to manifest more problems, more illness, more doubt, more worry, more stress in your life. So be very vigilant about what you are focusing on, what you're giving energy to at this time. And as a side note here, aside from just your own life, I would really like to encourage you to also visualize positive outcomes for the world as well. So really take some time to focus on seeing the world at peace and seeing our leaders being swapped out for better leaders, for more spiritually conscious leaders, people that really have their heart in the right place, that want and desire to bring equality back to the world, and peace and joy and harmony. It's very, very important. We are always collectively manifesting our experience, right? And I've mentioned this in past videos. So it's really important for us to visualize world peace, to visualize harmony, to visualize our waters cleansed and healthy, and our animal kingdom and our plant kingdoms to be healthy and balanced and rejuvenated. It's a matter of visualizing the world thriving instead of surviving, instead of putting our energy into like the fear of doom and gloom, right? Because unfortunately, there's so many videos out there that are exposing, yes, a lot of truth and a lot of the ways in which our world is out of balance. And because we are already aware of how out of balance our world is, it's very important for us to cultivate this vision of how it looks when it is in balance. And this is something that we truly can envision for ourselves, even if it's something we've never experienced. For all of our lifetimes, we have all basically only experienced our world out of balance, but yet we have this capacity within ourselves to visualize it as whole, as complete, as healthy, as everyone having their needs met. There are thankfully movies out there that also help to bring that vision forth even more so. So keeping yourselves elevated, watching positive things, and really sending love to the world, love to those leaders who now need to step up and lead our world in positive ways, is going to be very impactful at this time. Now let's talk about the fiery drive of Aries, because this solar eclipse is most definitely taking place in the sign of Aries. And I just want to quickly mention that 2 mourning doves just flew right in front of my window as I was talking about world peace. So I think that is beautifully symbolic of what we have the capability to bring forth. Now, you may be feeling a drive to get things done. This Aries season, which I'm sure many of you have been feeling as we entered Aries season, is definitely pushing us to get going, to get things done, light that fire under our butts, to really get moving on certain things, especially plans, projects, things that we're excited to get moving on. But we may not be able to fully get moving on those things. So it's important to have grace and have compassion for yourself at this time if you are feeling the drive, but perhaps don't necessarily have the energy to. And in that case, we need to evaluate, why don't I have the energy? What needs to change, perhaps in my lifestyle, perhaps in my sleeping patterns, perhaps with my diet, that will give me more energy, that will allow me to really be able to do the things I need to get done. You will not be endlessly full of energy, whether it's Aries season or not. And just that needs to be acknowledged, that when you need rest, you need that rest so that you can get up the next day and have more energy, have more power to do whatever it is you need to get done. You are going to need breaks, you are going to need rest, and that it is okay to take that rest. And especially now that we hit Mercury Retrograde, this is the time to start going inward again and really turning within yourself, taking a pause, slowing down to recognize what needs to change, how you need to not push yourself as hard. It's like slow and steady wins the race. I always hear that. Slow and steady wins the race. So it's like Spirit is always reminding me that I don't have to push so hard. I just need to do a little bit every day and I will get there. So I have that same message for you right now. Do a little bit every day and you will get there. Blockages, setbacks, and hindrances are a test that may be arising with the solar eclipse for you right now. This is something that you need to make sure you are responding to, not reacting to. So don't allow yourself to get super fiery, super anxious, or worried or stressed over any blockages that do come up at this time. Mercury is in retrograde. This is not a good time to sign contracts. This is not a good time to sign anything that's really important. It's a time to really look at the fine print and the details, to read between the lines, to have, everything really sorted out properly before you take action. So be sure to recognize the blocks or the hindrances that are coming up at this time as nothing more than just Spirit asking you to slow down a little bit and make sure that you have everything properly sorted and that you have full clarity before you take action on something. Now, Aries will give you the drive to keep going despite possible roadblocks. So don't give up, but just stay aware of what needs changing. Allow the Aries energy to continue carrying you forward. It will continue to carry you forward. It will continue to give you that positivity and that drive to get it done and to succeed. But just, again, sort of temper yourself. Make sure that temperance is considered during this time. It's also time to be very tuned in to your intuition. So really trust your intuition, like I said, especially regarding contracts. Anything big that you are about to enter or in this month need to be entering, be sure around this eclipse time to just kind of slow it down a little bit, take a step back. Don't rush into anything right now because it could be, you don't want to create a bigger mess for yourself than it needs to be. And maybe just delaying something or slowing something down by a day or two could be the magical answer or the magic formula that you need to prevent something really bad or something even more challenging to happen. So trust your intuition. If your intuition is saying no on something, it is a no, and trust that. And if your intuition is saying yes on something and is really giving you confirmation on something, trust that. Then that is what is right for you. So what is it telling you to focus on? What is it telling you to give your attention to at this time? Trust your intuition on that. And keep in mind that difficulties are just trying to bring awareness to something you need to see or do differently. And the difficulty lasts only until you make the appropriate changes. And speaking of changes, now let's talk about the theme of the positive changes that this solar eclipse is also bringing for us at this time, because it isn't all doom and gloom. It is, I promise you, some really, really positive, really unexpected, beautiful surprises for many of us at this time as well. So breakthrough energy continues to be on the rise and is a massive theme with this solar eclipse. Positive changes that really can come from anywhere and actually may come from the least expected places. So breakthroughs in areas of your life too, where you've been working towards something, or putting in a great deal of effort or work towards something to up level something, that can really break through for you at this time. I personally just had a big breakthrough experience just this past week, and I know that there's more breakthroughs that are coming for me. I can feel it already. And even that, like, trust your intuition on what you're feeling is about to break through for you. And don't lose faith, don't lose hope. It's coming. I am telling you, it is coming. This energy is bringing that forth for us. So this could be like some type of a breakthrough in a relationship. Perhaps you and your partner have been having problems in the past, and maybe you both started to seek therapy, or you really started to work on yourselves, and now you could have like this huge breakthrough within your connection, and perhaps you may come together and come together as better versions of yourself, and your love is rekindled and is like lit up again, and is back on track. So there could be beautiful relationship breakthroughs at this time. There could also be major breakthroughs within yourself, within some type of a healing that you can now recognize and full on honor within yourself, and just feel super proud of. I know for myself too, last week I was feeling really, really proud of myself over certain aspects of my shadow that I've overcome. And there was just this really deep acknowledgement within myself about overcoming those aspects. So feeling proud of yourself, actually, that energy is going to be very much amplified and very supported, and very much, it's like smiled upon is how I see. The universe is like smiling upon you if you have done that deep internal work, and it's saying, good job, honey. Like, you really got this. And now your rewards are here because of the work that you have done. So like a level of acknowledgement within the self and self-healing that has taken place, because don't forget, Chiron is in the mix. So Chiron isn't just about healing wounds. It's also about becoming healed, recognizing that you have healed from something really big, that you have overcome something within yourself. Passion projects that have to do with helping others could experience massive breakthroughs at this time as well. So if there's something you've been working on behind the scenes, that could really, really take off for you, and you can finally reap the fruits of your labor. And when it comes to the energies and stuff, I just want to remind you to stay flexible and just allow things to show up in more than one way. So don't necessarily be rigid about how you want something to show up. Have a clear intention and know what you want, but then also stay open for how it's going to show up. Remember, the how is never our business. That is the universe's business of how it's going to deliver your results to you. What the most important thing is for us individually is just to focus on what it is that we desire and what we want to experience, right? It could just show up in ways that you just could not even imagine right now. And that's the beauty of trusting the universe, is the universe always has bigger sort of grandiose plans of execution for us that we oftentimes can't even fathom or imagine. So just stay very flexible. Alignment with your highest timeline is also possible during this Aries solar eclipse. It's possible for all of April, actually, because this entire month is probably the most life-changing month of the calendar for us this year. So dreams, desires, manifesting, as long as you keep your eye on the prize, is very, very possible at this time. That's why I said meditation, visualization, affirmations, focusing on the results, on the solutions of everything is going to be key at this time and for this entire month. Wholeheartedly believing that you deserve all of it, everything that you desire and everything that you have worked for and everything that you want to come into your life. Believing that you deserve that is going to be very, very important. That's you aligning with destiny. The power of belief and manifestation is very much highlighted with this solar eclipse. This is a really super powerful eclipse, okay? And it's like magic is in the air. It's not all doom and gloom. Yes, there are some challenging aspects to this for sure. The more challenging aspects are going to play out for those individuals that absolutely must have karma balancing at this time. So those people that have been, shall I say, wolf in sheep's clothing, that is how I kind of see it more so. And then the people that have been doing the work, the people that have been good and have had pure hearts, pure intentions, those people are definitely going to be experiencing more positive aspects of this eclipse. So the more your attachment to the 3D crumbles, the faster you elevate into 5D consciousness and into 5D experiences. So these are experiences of love, of abundance, of prosperity, and being in alignment with the things that you were so deserving of, that perhaps you didn't in the past believe that you were deserving of. This is also a huge activation of worthiness with Chiron. Chiron is really activating worthiness within us and asking us, can you recognize that you are worthy of good? Can you recognize that you are worthy of love, of prosperity, of all kinds of beautiful things that help your life to thrive, that help you thrive and help you feel balance, that help you feel like you have opportunities for joy, for travel, for fun, beautiful experiences, not always just work and, toiling away and working on yourself and healing the shadow, right? So it's truly giving yourself permission and feeling worthy to have really wonderful experiences coming into your life now as of this month. And remember that your point of attraction always comes from your level of consciousness. Always, always. So wherever you are on your level of consciousness, that is your point of attraction. And that is from where you will attract your experiences. So keep leveling yourself up. That's why I said this week in particular is going to be so important to continue meditating, visualizing, affirming, and really commanding the universe to now bring you those things that you are worthy of, that you are deserving of. This eclipse also has a major alignment with the North Node. So this is about you experiencing something new. This is something destined that you have never experienced before. So this is like the type of up-leveling in your life that you haven't had an experience with before. Not in this lifetime and perhaps not even in previous lifetimes. So this is something completely brand new that you are now about to experience, that the universe is saying that you deserve to experience, that you have now earned in a spiritual manner. You have earned this experience, and that's what destiny truly is. It's like that you are being aligned with that destiny at this time. So you may feel hugely inspired to take action on something that is your destiny calling you. And that's why I said before, if you are feeling guided to teach, to share wisdom, to go back to school, or to do something different than what you have done before, and perhaps something that you have never done before, then this is the time to take action on that, because this solar eclipse is now activating that energy within you. It's like it's activating destiny within our cells, within our DNA, and is pushing us forward to say, okay, get out there and start doing this. And you may have also noticed that certain things have been phasing out of your life, like gradually. Like I know for me personally, I mentioned in past videos, I was a massage therapist for 17 years. That massage therapy started to very noticeably and very abruptly, it started to phase out of my life when the pandemic hit. So that was like the initial, for years leading up to the pandemic, I was already feeling this desire to change, to try something different, to try something new. And then once the pandemic hit, that sort of put a full stop to that career path for me. And from that point on, it literally just started to fizzle out more and more and more. And it was actually last year when I decided to completely give up my license. So you may have noticed this too in your own life, where perhaps a job that you've been working for a really long time is like really fizzling out, fading out, like clients are dropping, you just don't seem to have any traction left within a certain career. That is your indication that is not your destiny, that you are meant to be doing something else, and that destiny is now calling you. And like I said, it could be calling you to go back to school, to get re-educated. It could be calling you to take an online course that will help you put you on track with your destiny. It could be a calling to go see a certain therapist or go see a spiritual counselor, someone to help you get clarity on what your destiny is. And that's something that I offer as well. So if that's something you're interested in or need support with, definitely check the description box. You can find the link there to book with me. So these are the types of things that you may be feeling and may be noticing. Like I said, especially if you really deeply within yourself feel like something in your work life or career or how you show up in the world needs to change at this time. And the last thing I want to talk about with this Aries solar eclipse is Mercury in retrograde. As I mentioned earlier, Mercury officially goes retrograde today on April the 1st as I am filming this video. And Mercury retrograde in Aries is definitely going to highlight certain things in your life that really need changing, things that have to do with the self, right? Because Aries represents the self. So it's bringing things back around for review, for reevaluation, for revision, and for redoing. So all of the re's are really applicable during Mercury retrograde, of course. What are you ready to or need to do or approach in a new way now? This could be your health, this could be your wealth, this could be your family, your friends, your social circle, your lifestyle, your whatever. What is it that really needs a revamping at this time? Is there a certain project that you've been working on that perhaps you need to tweak and restructure in a sort of different way? Or like I said, your lifestyle, something about your diet that needs to be really looked at and revisited at this time. And, perhaps you need to acknowledge that you really do need to do a detox or some kind of a cleanse to help support your physical vessel. So what issues are coming back around that you haven't dealt with in the past? And like I said, this could be health issues, this could be wealth issues, this could be family issues, personal, friendships, work-related, boss-related. What kind of issues are resurfacing that you really need to stop sweeping under the rug? You need to stop running from and just stop and face and look at, okay, what are the solutions here? And if I don't know what those solutions are, can I be proactive? Can I give myself the opportunity to find those solutions, perhaps through connecting with others? Because oftentimes Mercury retrograde, while it talks about going within and being reflective, while you are going within, you may receive guidance that you need to get some type of external support. And I just want to mention Chiron here for a quick second. Where in your life have you been really stubborn about getting support? Sometimes, I know even for myself, I could be overly independent and I just refuse to ask for help even if I need it. So if that is something that resonates with you, then perhaps you need to be willing to go and get support. And who could you turn to? Who are you being guided to turn to get that support, that guidance that will help you move past whatever difficulties or conflicts or problems you are now having to revisit as a result of this Mercury retrograde. Retrogrades, keep in mind, are also always about slowing down. This is about taking your time, really slowing down and really going within, really trusting and connecting to your intuition so that you understand what the heck to do and how to move forward, right? Like, what is your higher self guiding you to do or to change? And the slowing down always has to do with clarity. We always have to slow down for what purpose? To get clarity. That is the main purpose of slowing down, right? So don't assume at this time that you have all the answers. Don't assume that you have all the details and that you know exactly what's going on in a certain situation. Instead, and certainly don't jump to conclusions either, not about yourself or not about other people or any situation. Be way more discerning. Definitely allow yourself to slow down so that you can get that insight from your higher self of what you need to do. So just chill out, reevaluate, and get more information so that you can be sure that you have all of the right information that will allow you to sort out that challenge, right? And be sure to take your time and think before you act. So many of us, oftentimes, we get a thought and we get super impulsive and we just go and we just start acting on that. And that may not be the best during Mercury retrograde that may not turn out very well. However, if it is a very strong intuitive guidance to do something, then go for it, then do it, right? When your intuition is talking, it's a feeling. It's a very discernible, very deep feeling, where when the mind is talking, it's just talking and there may not be any feeling associated with that talking. So that's how you know the difference between mind and intuition. Be flexible, go with the flow, because things may not turn out as you expect, and that is okay. So you may have some false starts, you may have some situations where you think like, yep, this is it, and it's going to be done now and whatever, and then all of a sudden something fizzles out, it doesn't work out, and that's okay. Don't be discouraged when those things happen. Again, it's just about slowing down. It's Mercury retrograde trying to get you to see something more fully, to have the bigger picture, to have a higher perspective of something. So allow false starts to be a reminder for you that certain puzzle pieces may be missing, and that's why it's a false start. So it's okay. It's also a very important time to move stuck energy out of the body. So moving our bodies physically, and I already mentioned physical detoxification, but really perhaps a new yoga practice, perhaps a new Pilates practice, or a new class that you need to sign up for. Maybe you need a gym membership, or you need just to start doing like 15-minute home workouts, whatever it is. Just move your body, allow energy to move through your body and out of your body through physical exercise. This is going to be very important. I myself have been feeling the need for this, and just feeling the need to challenge my body more physically. And that's a really, really good thing. It's just going to help power up your energy. It's going to help move energy, especially stuck and stagnant energy, out of the body. When it comes to your diet, what needs to be swapped out? What needs to be added? What you can change out for something better if you are someone that does have soft drinks, even if it's diet soft drinks. As a matter of fact, diet ones are even worse because they contain aspartame, which is a chemical that your body can't process. And so it ends up accumulating in the body. And so I want to encourage you to swap those things out for other drinks, using our spirit power over our mind, and overriding those cravings, those things for junk food or for different foods that we know are not good for us. Springtime is often a time when we tend to be very depleted after the winter season as well, just eating less fruits and vegetables over the winter season, because of course less stuff is in season, needing to refill our bodies. Grounding is the other thing I want to mention here, how incredibly important it will be to ground your energy, grounding every single day. And you can ground by going outside, spending some time barefoot outside, hugging some trees, or just even leaning up against a tree, taking nature walks, deep breath work in the fresh air, going for runs or for walks. All kinds of ways in which you can connect with nature will help you to ground your energy during this very intense eclipse season. And spending less time, of course, on devices. So that's something I'm noticing for myself as well, is just a desire to be less on social media and to consume less social media is going to be very, very helpful at this time. It's also going to help you to regulate and relax your nervous system. So I'm finding myself just wanting to listen to more chill music, more relaxing stuff, just to help sort of regulate my nervous system, because it can get a little bit fritzy right now with eclipse season. So you may just feel like you need more quiet, more calm, talking softer, talking a little bit quieter. These things will be helpful. And last but not least, I want to mention communication, because of course, Mercury, the planet of communication, is always bringing up the awareness and the need for certain communication to happen during a retrograde. So who do you need to communicate something to? So are there any boundaries, any limits that you need to communicate with someone at this time? This could be friends, family, this could be a boss, coworker, anyone that you kind of feel like you're at the end of your rope with. You're just like, okay, if that happens one more time, if you feel like that, then this Mercury retrograde is asking you to speak up. speak up, stop biting your tongue, and just say what you need to say to that individual. You can do this in a loving way, in an assertive way, but it needs to be done. It needs to be said. Again, this eclipse is asking us to lighten our energetic load, to lighten our baggage. So release the things that you have been pushing down, that you've been shoving down within yourself, that you've been biting your tongue about and not saying anything. You know, it's very, very important to give yourself permission to assert boundaries, to have limits, and to let people know that you have limits. We all have limits, and that's perfectly normal, right? So this is also a good time to communicate your needs, like what you actually need from another that perhaps you're not getting, or that you're getting to the point of being really tired of not getting. You know, what are you no longer able to tolerate, for example, from someone, that something that maybe they're doing repetitively and they're just not even aware that it's pissing you off, right? So there's so many different ways in which communication is highlighted with this Mercury retrograde and with this eclipse, and is asking us to speak our truth. So with that being said, this is the end of this Aries solar eclipse message. I hope you found some helpful guidance in here for you. If you do need support at this time, check out the description box for the link to book with me. You can get some energy healing as well. I do distance healing as well to help clear your energy and lighten your load. I pray that you have the strength and the willpower to keep going and stay positive, stay excited for the good changes that are coming, especially if you have been doing the work. Stay in the knowing and in the thought that we are all moving towards a higher level of consciousness, that we are all moving towards thriving and away from surviving. That's why some certain breakdowns need to happen. Certain patterns and ways of doing things need to be broken and need to be changed. So thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you all the best. Stay blessed.